Hi students, this is our second part of the topic, that is about cleansing agents, details about soaps and detergents. Now in this particular process we will be talking about general cleansing agents. Now what are first of all cleansing agents? Now the chemical substances which decrease the surface tension of water, remove oil or fat based dirt by forming emulsions are called surface active agents or surfactants. So what we call as the surface active agents, that means simple language detergents or even soaps, their prime function is first of all to decrease surface tension of water. Now once the surface tension of water is reduced, the material is able to give away dirt or oil based dirt very easily. Now these cleansing agents which we use in daily life, they are of two types as we know, soaps and synthetic detergents. Now before we learn about the structure, chemistry of these things, we will learn about what are basically fatty acids. And we come across two types of fatty acids in this topic. Number one, saturated fatty acids, which are lauric acid, palmitic acid, and stearic acid. It is better that students with competitive exam remember these formulae. The second type is unsaturated fatty acids, which contain oleic, linoleic, and linolenic acids. Depending on the formula, you can see oleic contains only one double bond, linoleic contains two double bonds, linolenic contains three double bonds in the structure. We will see how they differ and how they affect the structures of soaps and detergents. We will talk first about soaps, and their definition is very small. Soaps are either sodium or potassium salts of higher fatty acids. Now, what are higher fatty acids? We just now saw on the previous screen. Oleic, linolenic, all those acids, palmitic we saw, they were only fatty acids containing 11 to 17 carbon atoms. That is why they are called higher fatty acids. We will see their process also. You know, when soaps are manufactured, basically natural oil or natural fat is treated with NaOH or KOH. This process looks somewhat like this. The first structure what we see is a structure of oil or fat. Now this structure, that is oil or fat, is treated with 3 times NaOH, producing salt of fatty acid, these last molecules, that is nothing but soap. What remains as byproduct is glycerol. This entire process is called saponification. Once saponification is done, these two substances are separated by adding salt. Whatever is left over is known as lye, and that contains basically glycerol. Depending upon what you are using here, if you are using NaOH, they are called hard soaps. If we are using KOH, they are called soft soaps. So two types of soaps are in use: potassium soaps, that is soft, sodium soaps, that is hard soaps. Now we will study about different types of soaps which we use in daily life. The first one, the most common one which we use, are called toilet soaps, that is used for taking a bath. Different colors, fragrances, different types of chemicals are used to change the properties. The second type of soap which we have is called floating soap. These are usually made for bathtub, jacuzzi, such kind of things, and usually for even children. Transparent soaps. One of the most famous transparent soap everyone knows is Pears soap, Yama Devils. These brands are transparent soaps and they are made using excessive ethanol in them. Fourth is medicated, such as Dettol, Savlon, Lifebuoy. So these contain different kinds of chemicals depending on the usage. Another type is, of course, shaving soaps. So glycerol is kept in these soaps. Also, a gum called rosin is added. Now, due to rosin, it forms a chemical called sodium rosinate, which gives the foam leather which is needed for shaving purpose. Laundry soaps contain usually same sodium rosinate, sodium silicate, borax, sodium carbonate also. They are usually mostly sodium soaps or hard soaps. Soap chips and granules are also made for small amount of soaps, and soap powder, they are also made by adding powdered pumice or sodium carbonate or trisodium phosphate. So these are different 8 types of soaps which you should know. What are the advantages? The first most basic advantage is soap is completely biodegradable. Since it is obtained from natural sources, microorganism can work on them, it can destroy without creating any water pollution. But along with this big advantage, there are one or two disadvantages also. Soaps cannot be used in hard water because if you know, hard water contains calcium and magnesium ions. So what happens is something like this. This is first one is the formula of sodium stearate, which is nothing but soap. If calcium ions are present, sodium is replaced by calcium. Now you can see a new compound is produced. Similarly, if magnesium is present in water, it will also create a magnesium salt. Now, due to these formulae, calcium stearate or magnesium stearate, they create insoluble white precipitate. These precipitate will either stick to our hair while taking a bath or to fibers of the cloth if you are doing a washing with a soap, and they will destroy the good properties of them. So overall, whenever water is hard, soap will not work correctly. Second disadvantage is if soap is used in acidic water, it contains more of hydrogen ion, soap gets precipitated. So you can see sodium stearate gets separated as stearic acid along with sodium salt. This way, soap is also destroyed. These are main two disadvantages. To summarize, soaps cannot be used in hard water, soaps cannot be used in acidic water. By knowing these properties of disadvantages, detergents were discovered. Detergents are called soapless soaps. That means they function like soap, but they are not soap actually. Now, what are they? Detergents have different definitions. One of the most common definition is ammonium sulfonate or ammonium sulfate of long chain hydrocarbon with 12 to 18 carbon. Ammonium sulfonate or ammonium sulfate salt of long chain hydrocarbon with 12 to 18 carbon atoms. Detergents are completely synthetic, so they are non biodegradable and they will obviously cause water pollution. Detergents which we use are of three types: anionic, cationic, and non ionic. Let us take one by one advantages, disadvantages, and then we go to the types. Advantages are whatever were the disadvantages of soap, they are the advantages here. So, detergents can be used in hard water, soft water, acidic water, any medium it can work. They are rather more soluble and they give you much more foam than even soaps. They can reduce surface tension of water to a better extent than soap. So they are actually speaking better cleansing agent than soaps. There are few disadvantages. Major one is they are non-biodegradable since they are synthetic and they cause water pollution. Let us take one by one now different types of detergents. The first is called anionic detergents. Remember, anionic or cationic, the name comes that where the charge is present. If a long chain contains negative charge, then it will be called anionic detergents. First type is sodium alkyl sulfate. For example, you can see here I am taking an alcohol molecule with 10, 11, 12 carbon atoms. This is treated with sulfuric acid to form its sulfonic salt. This is treated with sodium hydroxide to form its sodium salt. This becomes a kind of sodium alkyl sulfate type of detergent. Similarly, we can have sodium alkyl benzene sulfonate. Now check the difference. We take here now dodecyl benzene, that means 12 carbon atoms connected to benzene. Exactly same way react with sulfuric, and at para position sulfonic acid group comes. Treated with NaOH, this is the sodium alkyl benzene sulfonate. You need to remember these two syntheses for your exams. Anionic detergent different type is this way, which cannot be classified in earlier one. Now this contains also, you can see, 9, 10, 11, 12 carbon, but of course this is with a branch, and then SO3Na is similar. The benzene sulfonates having unbranched chain or single chain, they are highly biodegradable and they are called soft detergents or LAS detergents. LAS stands for long chain anionic sulfonate detergents. The one which are ABS, that means aromatic benzene sulfonate, they are hard detergents and they are non-biodegradable. Remember, which are biodegradable? They are called soft detergents, LAS. The one which are non-biodegradable, they are hard, called ABS. Our household detergents, the ones which are used in toothpaste, they are all basically anionic detergents. After anionic detergents, now the second type we have is called cationic detergents. As I said earlier, that the long part of the molecule will have a positive charge on it, and that is called cationic detergent. These detergents are also called invert soaps because cationic part of the molecule can remove dirt or grease, and it is usually observed that dirt and grease have negative charge on them. Coming to different examples, these are usually very large molecules with quaternary ammonium salts with either acetate, chlorides, or bromides. Let me show you an example of it. First example in your syllabus is cetyl trimethyl ammonium bromide. Now please check here the structure with it. Nitrogen with a positive charge is over here. With 3 CH3 groups, it is written out here, and a chain of 16 carbon atoms you can count in this direction. So this is a chain of, let us check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Earlier, when this topic used to be there in HSC, they used to actually check the number of carbon atoms whether student has drawn correctly. Of course, such a thing can still come in JEE and NEET, where they can make a mischief with this structure and ask you to check it. Second example is cetyl pyridinium chloride. So once again, cetyl indicates this chain of 16 carbon. Nitrogen with a positive charge is a part of pyridine molecule outside chloride. Some more examples. Sterile trimethyl ammonium chloride. Now you can see this nitrogen is with CH3 3 groups. Sterile indicates here 18 carbon atom ka chain. This is 18 carbon chain, and the remaining anion is outside here. The remaining, understand part that wherever the positive charge comes or in anionic negative charge comes, that part is responsible for cleansing job. Next one, you can see here now reading this structure from right hand side. C6H5CH2 is out here. Nitrogen with a positive charge, 2 CH3 groups, CH2 14 times and CH3, and this has a negative charge. This becomes benzalkonium chloride. Cationic detergents have excellent germ killing properties. So these are used as anti-dandruff shampoos, hair conditioners, and in very dilute quantities as mouthwash and antibacterial soaps. In our India, we usually prefer these in anti-dandruff shampoos in maximum extent. Next we have is last third type, non-ionic detergents. These detergents, as the name suggests, do not have any charge at all, and they will have certain functional group which can create hydrogen bonding. So few examples are polyethylene glycol stearate, which contains at the end OH functional group, lauryl alcohol ethoxylate, which contains even OH group, pentaerythritol monostearate, which contains in the center ester group COO. These detergents, non-ionic detergents are used in dish cleansing liquid soaps. So this was entirely about types of detergents. We will now take the last point here as how basically soaps or detergent can clean a surface or how they can remove dirt. Any molecule of soap or detergent will have two parts. One, long chain hydrocarbon part, that is going to be water insoluble. Whatever is water insoluble, it's soluble in oil or grease. Second part is the ionic part, which is carboxylate ion. So now you can see this long chain is hydrophobic. This bulky group is hydrophilic. Hatred for water, loving for water. This particular portion will remain immersed in water. This portion will remain outside the water. So in water, whenever we add a detergent, the long chain part remains outside and the bulky group remains inside. When concentration keeps on increasing, they will form a bulk together known as a micelle. So this randomly what you see here at a certain concentration becomes like this, wherein this wavy part, hydrophobic part is outside and this COO group has immersed in water. This unit is called micelle, ionic micelle. The moment micelle is produced, detergent is ready to do cleansing action. If micelle is not formed, detergent cannot clean the surface. That is why in at home, whenever we are using Surf Excel, Ariel, anything, on that packet, instruction is written that for 1 bucket of water, add 1 scoop of detergent. That amount, 1 scoop, which is written, is basically the micelle concentration. If you add lesser detergent than that, micelle will not be formed. You will say Ariel is not working properly. And second thing, every detergent has a different quantity to make micelle. Surf, suppose you need 2 scoops, maybe Ariel you will need 1 scoop. Some other detergent might need 3 scoops. So the amount which they give has to be strictly followed, because in India we have a practice, why to add such so much of detergent? Let us add less quantity. So if you are doing conjuicy in adding less detergent, you will not reach micelle concentration. Cleaning of the clothes will not take place correctly. Further, this grease or oil is sticking, imagine, to the surface. So imagine this is the fabric surface, you have this line, and this is the dirt. So your surfactant molecules are initially roaming like this, and now when it forms a micelle, they go and attach like this. In the cleansing process later on, they will form a micelle, take away this grease, and your surface will become extremely clean. This is the science of cleansing of the uh, cloth containing oil or grease using a micelle concentration.